Hey everybody, welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Michael Noland. Sadly, tonight marks my farewell video for the channel. Now, tickets will be going on sale for this video through Live Nation and Ticketmaster. And please keep in mind, if I make any other videos from this point, they will be included with my brand new set of farewell videos. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, folks. We're going to be talking about rock bands, classic rock artists who lie through their teeth every damn time they open their mouths. All right, so tonight's video is based on an article that I read that covered 46 farewell tours. Now, notice I did not say 46 artists that had farewell tours, because several artists on this list are on the list several times. We have Tina Turner, who once she announced her retirement and a movie was made based on her life story, she was right back at it. Elton John announced the end of his touring days 10 years after he began his career, and yet how many times have we seen him return? The man has never met a residency he didn't love. And speaking of residencies, how about Billy Joel, who had set up pretty much a permanent residency in New York City, but maintained that basically he was retired. What did we get? We got a tour with him and Stevie Nicks, and he's still out there making plans without her. And what about Peter Frampton? In 2022, he announced that that was his farewell tour, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame took note of him. But if you listen to his statements regarding this final bit of touring, is really he's going to be touring as long as he can make his fingers move. And he makes those moves from a sitting down position, much like Phil Collins did on their farewell tour. The article mentions The Who several times on the list, and in current interviews, Pete Townshend is saying he would love to tour yet one more time with Roger. Now, Roger's been out touring with his own outfit and saying that he's done with The Who, but Pete Townshend wants to have a conversation with him nevertheless. Ozzy Osbourne has made more farewell tours in so many guises you need a notebook to keep up. He's had farewell tours both as a solo artist and with Black Sabbath, and due to physical challenges, he can't be touring right these days, but you can tell every time he opens his mouth, he wants back on stage. It's like a drug with these people. And how about Cream? Cream was barely a band. They barely had material out there, and yet they called it quits in 1968 with a farewell tour and final performances at the Royal Albert Hall. In 2005, they were back and even tried to add more shows, but those three and those egos in that band were never meant to get along from the outset. The Doobie Brothers were pretty much toast the second that Tommy Johnson got ill. He had an ulcer, he had to quit the band for private reasons. They hired Michael McDonald. They had a brand new set of fans, a brand new sound really, and they've called it quits so many times I can't even keep count. At last count, both Michael McDonald and Tommy Johnson were touring with the band, and I've got to tell you, out of all the people on this list tonight, this is the one band I would consider to go and see just doing their hits. Cher has changed her mind, and so has Kiss. As we know, they were so bad during their last tour, they were playing to backing tracks, and in their very last show, they gave a preview of an upcoming Avatar show. So we're not done with Kiss any more than we're done with ABBA. In 2010, the Go-Go's, Scorpions, and Judas Priest all announced farewell tours, and yet all three of those bands continued to tour well beyond that. Motley Crue announced in 2014 that they were on a 2-year final goodbye tour, and they are still touring to this day. The Allman Brothers replaced key member after key member after key member to the point that the band was practically unrecognizable, touring all along. And what about the Grateful Dead's Fare Thee Well tour, a tour that was started a decade after Garcia died? What about Bob Seger? How about Slayer? How about Lynyrd Skynyrd? With the passing of Gary Rossington, I would have never thought we'd see that band again, and yet they're out there, or at least the band that claims to be Lynyrd Skynyrd is touring. Foreigner's been on a farewell, goodbye, sayonara, see you later tour for so long I can't even remember when it started, and in their latest interviews, they're talking about being out there still even up to 5 years from now. From Genesis to the Monkees to David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar trying to say goodbye for Eddie Van Halen, we get the same old proclamation: see us while supplies last. Now, I've talked about before how these bands have kind of turned their backs on their original fans. They know where the real money is in touring. It's with the younger crowd, and the younger crowd wants to hear the radio hits. Many of these artists that I just mentioned tonight and their farewell tours and the incessant touring leading up to those farewell tours have not put out any new material. And really, why would they? Their primary crowd that goes to see them doesn't want to hear new material from them. I do, but see, I'm from their original fan base. No, the younger kids want to hear the hits. You know, it's kind of like going to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. Every 20 or 30 years, that ride is reinvented, but it's a brand, and they keep certain elements there that all generations love. And that's what's happening with touring these days. The familiar elements are the hits. The unfamiliar elements are a whole new generation of musicians up there claiming to be the band that they aren't. Foreigner is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Not a single person that you see on that stage. Now think about what you've paid to see that band. None of them were there when the music that you, as a younger audience, wants to hear was made. The real geniuses, the real artists of that band, for the most part, left decades ago, leaving only Mick Jones as the sole original member, and he isn't with the band anymore because he just can't do it anymore. He has too many physical limitations. Now, I have just recently announced that I do not consider Foreigner to be a tribute band like I've called them many times on this channel. And the reason for that is a tribute band is honest. They don't lay claim to the name like these guys do. These guys are what I call a franchise band. The Avatar shows for ABBA and Kiss are franchise acts, and so is Foreigner. None of those bands, whether they're Avatar or real actors in place, are the real thing. And yet everybody gobbles them up like they're candy. Now, that's another reason why I think a lot of these artists and bands have turned their backs on their original fans. We were spoiled, folks. We know what good rock and roll art is. We have hundreds of albums by hundreds of artists that should be hanging in the Louvre. But they're old now. They didn't spend their millions wisely in their youth, and so they've got to keep going back to the kitty, and the kitty is the franchise, the brand name. Now the kitty needs fed, right? Who's going to feed that kitty? Not us original fans. You're not giving us anything new. And so it's the younger audience that have wound up becoming their 401k. Which leads me to my question to the tribe, folks. How many of these bands I just mentioned tonight have you gone and seen in concert, say in the last 5, 6, 7 years? Now this channel has subscribers from 18 all the way to 199. All right, I may be exaggerating that top end, but I want to hear from all generations of rock fans on this. Is it okay for you for artists who announce a farewell tour only to follow it up with yet another and another and yet another for some of these acts? And if so, what is it about a brand name that turns you on so much that you would accept them as the band that they purport to be? Because I gotta tell you, folks, I don't understand that psychology, but I would love to hear from some of you trying to explain it to me, honestly. All right, folks, that's the video for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I always ask that, but there's a reason for that. Ever so many thumbs up, the video gets spit out to a wider audience, and that helps with views, that helps with channel growth, and I certainly appreciate your efforts in doing so. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as of yet, maybe you're just a casual viewer, please consider. It would help me out. It supports the channel, and it is so easy. All you have to do is hit that subscribe to the tribe button, tap that top bell icon. When you do that, you get notified of all my future videos. So you got to tap that thing, and you're in. You are a tribal member. All right, folks, I'm Michael Noland. This is The Bottom Line. Once again, only as I see it. The real bottom line's always in the comments, because it's in the comments where we show we are the tribe.